Most people who say they own a business are actually lying to themselves. What they really have is a high-pressure, low-margin job where the boss, who happens to be them, is a total micromanager. I've seen this pattern repeat hundreds of times. You start with a dream of freedom, but 3 years later, you're the one answering emails at 11 p.m. You're the one fixing the broken printer, and you're the one who can't take a weekend off without the whole operation moving toward a cliff. You aren't a founder yet. You're a manager in a founder's clothing. And if you don't change your habits, that job is going to eventually burn you out until there's nothing left. But here's the good news. The difference between a stressed-out manager and a true founder isn't a secret degree or $1 million in VC funding. It's 6 specific, almost invisible habits that change how you interact with your work. If you can master these, you stop being the engine of the car and you finally start being the driver. The first habit that separates the two is the shift from how to why. A manager is obsessed with the how. How do we fix this customer complaint? How do we get this shipment out by Friday? How do we post more on social media? They're constantly looking at the floor, trying not to trip over the next obstacle. A true founder, however, is obsessed with the why and the who. They look at a problem and instead of rolling up their sleeves to fix it themselves, they ask, why did this problem happen in the first place? And who is the person I can put in place so it never happens again? I remember talking to a guy who ran a small construction firm. He was exhausted because he was the only one who knew how to bid on contracts. He was the how. He thought he was being a hero by working 80-hour weeks. But a true founder would have spent those 80 hours building a bidding system and training a junior estimator to use it. The founder's habit is to realize that every time you solve a problem yourself, you are actually stealing a growth opportunity from your business. You're choosing the dopamine hit of a quick fix over the long-term wealth of a system. The second habit is what I call the architect solitude. Managers love meetings. They love the feeling of being needed. Their day is a jagged mess of Slack notifications and quick syncs. But the most successful founders I've ever studied have a radical habit of protecting their headspace. They understand that their only real job is to make 3 or 4 high-quality decisions a year. To do that, they need silence. They don't react to the world, they anticipate it. They spend the first 2 hours of their day without a phone, without an inbox, just thinking about the chess moves that will matter 6 months from now. If you're spending your whole day reacting, you aren't leading. You're just being pushed around by the loudest person in the room. A founder's habit is to treat your attention like a bank account. They don't spend it on trivialities. They save it for the big architectural shifts that move the needle by miles, not inches. Before we get into the third habit, I want to address something. If you're listening to this and realizing that you're stuck in the manager trap, if your business feels like a house of cards that only stays up because you're holding it with both hands, you need to stop the bleeding. You can't build a system while you're drowning in the details. That's why we created something specifically for you. You can download our free checklist right now. It takes only 15 minutes to go through, but it's designed to help you audit your time and reclaim 10+ hours every single week. It's the literal blueprint for moving from doing to founding. The link is in the description below. And honestly, if you don't have 15 minutes to fix your life, that's the biggest red flag of all. The third habit is radical responsibility. A manager looks for someone to blame when things go wrong. The marketing agency messed up the ads, or the new hire just isn't a culture fit. A true founder has the somewhat painful habit of looking in the mirror first. They understand that every single problem in the business is a reflection of a flaw in the system they created. If a hire fails, the founder asks, "How is my vetting process broken?" If a customer is unhappy, the founder asks, "Where did my communication system fail?" This sounds exhausting, but it's actually the most empowering habit you can develop. If it's someone else's fault, you're a victim. If it's your system's fault, you're the one with the power to fix it. True founders don't want to be right, they want to be effective. They would rather admit they were wrong and fix the foundation than spend their life defending a cracked wall. The fourth habit is the who filter. Managers are always looking for the cheapest way to get a task done.
Founders are looking for the person who has already solved the problem 1,000 times. There's a story of a founder who needed to scale his e-commerce brand. He spent 6 months trying to learn Facebook ads himself. He was miserable. Finally, he developed the who habit. He stopped asking, "How do I learn ads?" and asked, "Who is the best in the world at this?" He hired an expert who cost 3 times more than he wanted to pay, but within 30 days, the business had tripled in size. The habit here is realizing that your ego wants you to be the smartest person in the room, but your bank account wants you to be the person who hires the smartest people. A founder's value isn't their personal skill set, it's their ability to assemble a dream team and then get out of the way. If you're the smartest person in your company is in serious trouble. The 5th habit is strategic subtraction. Managers are addicted to more products, more services, more features, more opportunities. They think growth is about adding things. Founders realize that growth is almost always about taking things away. They have the habit of ruthlessly pruning the B- ideas to make room for the A+ ones. They know that complexity is the silent killer of any organization. One founder I know had a consulting business with 12 different service tiers. It was a nightmare to manage. He used the habit of subtraction to cut it down to one single high-ticket offer. His revenue doubled and his stress levels dropped to near zero. A founder's job is to be the chief simplification officer. They protect the clarity of the mission so the team can move with speed. If your team is confused, it's because you haven't been brave enough to say no to the distractions that look like opportunities. The final habit, and the one that actually turns the key, is building for obsolescence. A manager wants to be indispensable. They want to be the person who holds the keys to the castle. A true founder has the habit of trying to fire themselves from every role they occupy. They're constantly asking, "How can I make sure this process doesn't need me anymore?" They document everything. They create videos, manuals, and frameworks. They empower their team to make mistakes and learn from them. The ultimate payoff for a founder isn't a big office or a fancy title. It's the ability to walk away for a month and return to a company that is more successful than when they left. That is the true definition of a founder. You didn't build a business to create another cage for yourself. You built it to create freedom. But that freedom only comes if you have the discipline to make yourself unnecessary.